good video put together by the district, and I hope people take the time to sign up. There is a 1 hour they call it a tailgating party, I guess with the immediate district, and you know, it's free. You can just join in, get to know some people. So, you know, hope that there's lots of people from our club that shows up. So, and we are 12:15. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. Welcome to the weekly meeting of the Rotary Club of Barrie. Things go better when you are here. We hope you enjoy your time with us, and for those guests, please come back and visit again. Please stand for the start of our meeting, O Canada, and a toast to the Queen. For good food, for good friends, and for the opportunity to provide service above self through Rotary, we are thankful. And a toast to the Queen. So our beacon editor this week. Now I've got, Gary Kopp. And many thanks to Peter Dean. He did double duty last week with the beacon as well as our history lesson. Now is Peter Dean on? He was going to do another history. And I'm not seeing him. Don't see him on yet. Okay. So we're going to give Betty Ann a little bit of time to catch up with the guests. So we're going to jump into birthdays and anniversaries. So we have Marta Ross on May 7th, John O'Brien May 8th, and Chris Vannikirk on May 9th. Big happy birthday. No club anniversary, no married anniversaries, but we do have some club anniversaries. Todd Armstrong. Now we've got you as 6 years, but really, Todd, what is the real time?
I think the previous version was about 15 years. So, yeah.
So welcome to that. We'll celebrate the whole time that you're with us.
Great, thanks.
David Wilding is 29 years. Dave Blencarn is 46 years. Rudy Mack, 36 years. And Beatrice Sigwin is 3 years. So go into a big happy birthday. Happy anniversary.
Happy birthday.
Well, enjoy your day and do something special. So Betty Ann, are we ready or do you need a little bit more time?
I'm good, President Deb and fellow Rotarians. And today we are happy to have Connie Eggins join us. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but we're happy to have her as our guest today, a guest of President Deb. We also have our upcoming district governor, Steve Midley. He's here very often now. And I see another guest, Natalie, sitting out there. And welcome. I was trying to figure out who it is, but those are our guests for today. And we want to welcome you to the Best Club. Thank you.
Yes, welcome. And as you know, you're always welcome to come and join us anytime. So you hope you enjoy the meeting. So to start off, we're as we get into our announcements, we have a initiative that you're going to see in your email boxes soon, but it is our Rotary Club of Barrie is taking action, and it's in support of the COVID relief for India. So we have had one of our very own, our incoming Jody, who has offered up 2 shredding machines to send off as a raffle. So when we were live and in person, we would, sell numbers for, $5 a number, and then everybody would throw it into the Sunshine Cup and we would draw. So this is our version of that. So what we're going to do is Ian has miraculously put together on Canada Helps a link, which you'll get, and we'll make sure it gets put into the chat as well, so that you can click on and you can purchase 1 ticket for $5 or 5 tickets for $20. Now you do not get a tax receipt for this because you are eligible to win one of the amazing photocopy or the shredders. Sorry, Jody, I was almost upping it to a photocopier. So get on there. We're going to assign numbers as everybody gets on, and we're going to do the draw on Sunday. So then it gives people lots of time to get on and get their tickets. We'll get the numbers sorted out, and we'll give this a go. And all of the funds are going to go for our COVID relief for India. So there will be more to come on that. And watch your inbox, watch for the link, and maybe make it easy and just click on the chat link as it gets in there and be done. And here is the amazing paper save. Okay, lower it a little bit. What is it? Okay, Jody, what is it? I'll unmute you here.
Thank you, President Deb. It's a Dolly Paper Save personal shredder. These things are awesome. Simple as that.
So
14 pages of paper. It'll shred CDs if anybody still has those, ties, shirts, whatever you throw into it.
yeah, so much better, privacy, safety, fraud, all those great things. So it's always nice to have that at home. We're all working from home now. So it's nice to get rid of that stuff and send it off to recycling. And way better than those kind of the cheap ones you can get at the local convenience store where they barely shred one at a time. So thank you, Jody, for offering those up. And please click on and see what we can do to raise some funds. Now these funds, I think everybody has seen from the district. The funds the district is raising are going to go towards purchasing oxygen tanks. And it's about $1,000 US for each oxygen tank to go down. And it's going to be very good because, once it's used for COVID, of course, it can be used again and again. So it is very worthwhile. All the money goes to a good cause, and it will be a bit fun to see how Jody's machine works out and see if we can get him fined before he becomes president. So. Okay, and getting into announcements, Chris Vannikirk.
Thanks, President Deb. And hi, everyone. I have an announcement on behalf of community service. Well, 2 announcements, actually. One is our Rotary gift card initiative. Just want to let everybody know that we've got about 130 recipients on a list. We haven't distributed any yet, only because we haven't got the gift cards from Joe at No Frills yet, but they just arrived today, so we'll be working on distributing those 130. Finding recipients, it really hasn't been difficult, but the way we're going about it has been difficult, only because we don't want to attract too much attention to this. We don't want to create any negative goodwill. We want to be able to meet our obligations. So we're still looking for names if you have any, and we're going to be ramping up our efforts now that we have the gift cards. We're going to be contacting businesses, not just by phone, but through Facebook as well. And again, welcome any suggestions that you have. We're looking for anybody in food service, personal care, hotels or motels, malls, retail shops, kids play places, golf courses or sports facilities, dance studios, arts facilities, anything like that. And thanks to those who have already helped. And I'll continue to keep the club aware of our progress on it. The second announcement is our community garden. I've got some pictures to share, but I wanted to let everyone know the site is at 40 Miller Drive, and I really encourage people to have a look and check it out. The soil's been delivered, it's been leveled, it's been rototilled, and we've been planning to go out there to do some seeding. We have a small group of volunteers, but the weather just hasn't cooperated to this point. Also, we've reached out to charitable organizations, so we do have a place for all the produce that we're going to get, or at least we hope to get. Earl Graham has assisted with the irrigation. Bernie Still has coordinated the soil and the Sandpoint well. And special thanks to Roy Poirier from Barry Bobcat and Dave England from England Enterprises for their help with this. And I do have some pictures to share so you can see. Jeff, I don't know if you can share, if you want me to share it. Is Jeff still here?
Jeff should be around.
Here, I can share. So there it is there. There's the garden right there in the early stages, and this is after it's been rototilled. It's about 5,000 square feet, I believe. And just a quick video of it just getting rototilled. Hold on. There we go. So fun and exciting.
And that is awesome. That's certainly going to go towards helping a lot of people that are food insecurity in our community and help to get some fresh vegetables. I did see a note in some of your papers, Chris, that you're focusing on vegetables that are hardy and can withstand some time before going bad. So definitely some thought put into how this garden is pulled off. So thank you very much. John Laking.
Hi, President Deb. So first, a big shout out from a past member, a past president, a past district governor, John Gordon, wanted me to say hi to the whole club. He's missing us, but he's doing well up north. My contact with him is mainly, I think a couple of weeks ago, you were speaking of fellowship. Well, one of the fellowships within Rotary is curling. We don't really have too much fun. It's rare, but it does happen. Every couple of years, there's an exchange between Scotland and Southern Ontario. They come over here for about 3 weeks. Their intent, if you can believe it, is to come this November. So we're making plans to host them. Barry will be hosting them in conjunction with Gravenhurst, November 11th, which is a Saturday. It'll involve one curling game. It'll involve an evening of hosting and probably a hangover the next day, and picking up and dropping them off at different places. So if you're interested, please contact me. It's a great contact. And if it works this year, then it'll be spectacular. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, John. And might want to share with John Gordon that even at up north, I think they do have internet, and he could click on the link and come join us too. So let him know that a personal invite's been extended.
Will do.
Thanks, John. Rory.
Thank you, President Deb, and wanted to provide an announcement around our fun run this year and looking for some individuals to stretch their Zoom skills here. So, I don't know if somebody could put into the chat, when is the fun run 2021? First skill testing question. Prizes, gonna blow your mind here. Can't tell you what they are, but know they're coming. Who can put into the chat? Oh, Kara. Oh, all right. Thank you, Kara. And coincidence there that you would have those dates right on hand, but it is. It's May 22nd to 30th. Now we're going to stretch the show your hands. Everybody know how to raise their hand on Zoom? Does anybody need the tutorial? Housekeeping? I think we're good. We're going to put our hands up. So, who has registered for the fun run? Who do we have? Oh, I see Sergeant at Arms Eric. I see incoming. I see Ian. All right. So we're rolling. Big thing here. I'm going to throw into the chat is 2 asks today. One is, if you haven't already started to follow the Instagram page, we're trying to give our sponsors some love. We're trying to kind of bring the virtual platform to life. Many individuals as part of the committee have put a lot of time into this. So if you have your phone handy and you go to Instagram, search out Barrie Fun Run, throw a little follow on there and feel free to show some love. The second element that I just shared within the chat is the link to register. If you haven't taken the opportunity, huge hats off to the group that created this portal. Super slick, super easy. You can register as an individual, you can register as part of a team, and you can set a goal for yourself. So please do take a look at that. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us as we're really looking to make this event a success again in a virtual setting. I know last year was phenomenal, and we're hoping to keep that momentum alive. When we look to title sponsors, many Rotarians have come back to the table to support us again this year. Wanted to provide a big thank you there with a special kudos to our title sponsors in Bush Systems and Georgian Protection Services. So, huge thank you to all of our sponsors. Special highlight to the title sponsors, and let's have some fun with this. If you haven't already taken the time, we're going to bring to life some social media, some prizes, and try to make this fun this year to keep the momentum alive from last year. President Deb, can I ask, do you have an individual goal that you've set for the fun run this year?
I do. I set a whopper of one. I put in $5,000.
$5,000 coming from an individual member. So, round of applause for President Deb. Love to see the aspirational target. And, this is what we make of it. We have a vibrant club. We want to keep this going. If you have any questions, please do let me know. Know it's coming. And thank you to everybody who has either signed up, sponsor, or plans to participate in this year's fun run.
Yeah, I figured if we can get 5,000 or more than 5,000 for Brandon's haircut, must be able to get 5,000 from a fun run too. So Brandon, you motivated me. So awesome work, everyone. Remember, click on any donation, any sponsors, anything. It all goes towards a great cause, and every little bit helps to make the event successful. And Jody, you have an announcement.
Thanks, President Deb. Yeah, to the entire club, thank you for those of you that have sent in your committee requests. Unfortunately, we've only had about 50% of the club submit. So Secretary Jeff did send out another announcement reminding you today. And I'm just kind of reaching out to everybody. Please let us know where you'd like to be. The best thing that can happen is you end up on a committee that you want to be on, that you're engaged with, and quite frankly, we'll participate in. So the draft will be next Wednesday. We will, as we always do, make every effort to put you where you belong or where you've requested. But we need more people to send their forms in. So if you know somebody that maybe isn't on the meetings, and you could maybe send them a quick email or a text and just remind them, Rotarian, if they haven't sent their forms in, it would really help to get that to Secretary Jeff as soon as possible. Thanks, President Deb.
Awesome. Yes, and good luck, Jody, with that. It's a fun start to your year, is getting those committees set up. Rob, you've got some interesting things to share with us.
Thanks, President Deb. I just wanted to give the club an announcement as to what the membership committee has been doing this year. One of the big projects we've been working on. So what we've been looking to establish is a new kind of streamlined and focused new member intake for both online members as well as members recommended by current members of the club. So we've put together essentially an intake list of a number of questions so that individuals we don't know, or even individuals we do know who apply to the club, we can get a better sense of who they are, why they want to join Rotary, whether or not they're a good fit for Rotary as well. So we've been working to put that document together, and it's a unified document for both, again, online applications as well as in-person applications. So we've taken a lot of the good practices that we've used in the past and added some structure to it and put it together in one document. In addition to that, we've worked on how to make that first year for a member the best it possibly can. So we've worked on documents and guidelines for essentially proposers. So if you're proposing a new member, what your obligations are and how to make the process as streamlined as possible. And then also a mentorship guide. And I think this one's key for all new members, because it sets out, again, the obligations and what we'd like to see the mentors do, and also sets out a list of those items we'd like new members to achieve or experience in that first year of being a member. And we think that by setting it out like that, we can help with member engagement, especially in those first few years when people are trying to get their feet wet and get a sense of what Rotary and what our club is all about. So again, we've defined some roles, added some details, and put together what we think is a really good guide to help guide mentors, proposers, and new members as well. So if anyone wants to see the documents, please let me know and I can get you copies. But we're also going to be working with Alan Mallory to put the documents onto the system where you can access them as well. I'd ask again for myself and Sue Croft, who's going to be the committee chair next year, that if you plan on bringing in a new member or have any leads, let us know and we can help you through the new process as well. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Yeah, you guys have done a lot of work pulling all that together. The documents look great. And as you said, it really just kind of pulls in all the best practices that's been used and just collate it and put it all into something that is simple and makes sense. So thanks so much for all your work there. So any other announcements before we pass this over to for the fishing derby? Nope, I think you're all clear. Wayne, take it away.
Thank you, President Deb. Fellow Rotarians, guests, I hope everyone knows that this weekend is Mother's Day. And like sometimes you just don't know what to buy. It's a tough thing. They have everything. Our spouses have everything. Well, I'm going to share my screen with you. And I have an idea. Let me just scroll back up here. And this here is the ice fishing raffle. If you look down here, most mothers, wives, they like going out for dinner. They like, so maybe they don't want a pizza. Maybe they don't want to go to a ball game, maybe, but they do like going to Jack Astor's, Michael and Marion's, the locker room, and things like that. And then just by chance, they might even win you a prize by getting you over to building supplies at Simcoe and what have you. But there are some really nice dinners here or lunches, gift certificates we have from our local restaurants. And there's like lots of them. There's 50 prizes that we draw. And then after we draw on the 50 prizes, we then put everybody's ballot back in for the number 51 draw, which is Bell's Let's Talk Family Day draw. But you can see even McDonald's, like, you know, who doesn't like McDonald's? So you got lots of little things in here. And then of course, oh, there's another one for us guys. There's Cabela's gift card. So, you know, maybe they'll win that and give that to us for Father's Day. So what a gift that keeps on giving. So if you're stuck for an idea, buy a fishing or ice fishing raffle ticket. Oh, and of course, you also my friend Jeff Walters at you know, diamonds are the girl's best friend. You
Here,
can.
here.
And I'm going to leave this now and turn it over to my friend John Laking.
Hi, President Deb. Thanks, Wayne. It's kind of like a good cop, bad cop thing. And who would ever have thought of you being a good cop? Lots of stuff there, which is great. But sometimes under Sergeant at Arms, and we'd normally have Sergeant at Arms rile up the crowd. But we've got a Sergeant at Arms this year he's so nice and sweet, and he does everything so polite that they figured they better go back to an old codger that was a Sergeant at Arms at one time. So I'm just filling in for him. We talked about history, I think, last week, President Deb and Peter Dean talked about the chicken barbecue where we were giving out books of tickets and we had to go out and sell tickets. And our good friend Arlette used to run a draw for a Harley or a draw for a Volkswagen, and we went out and sold tickets. And then the trip of the month, we used to have $150 for a ticket. And we typically sell 300 plus of those in the club. I guess where I'm getting at is these tickets are $30. We're down to the short strokes. There's been a lot of hard work done by a number of people to put the logistics of this together. It's our job or our duty to go out and sell these tickets. It's an easy potential profit for the club. So possibly we can get Secretary Jeff just to send that link out to us, put a little header line on it and send it out to your family members, your friends. There might be past Rotarians. I mean, if you're a past Rotarian, I think the easiest thing to do is say buy a ticket versus the feel the need to be at meetings and doing all the logistics of all the other stuff we do. So it's a pretty easy get for them. My goal now, it might have changed because Jody said he's getting 50% response from the club. But my goal is everybody could just try and get 4 tickets sold. Not asking for a ton, just 4 tickets. You don't need to buy them yourself, but you can buy them for other people or you can send them on, and it's a pretty easy ask for people to just do. So send them on the link. The fundraiser's all set up and we're on a deadline. Unfortunately, we would like to have had more time. But for any number of reasons, we're on a short stroke. We didn't want to get involved too close to the spring tonic. We didn't get too close to the fun run, and we've done that. So step it up, folks, get her done.
Thank you, John. And I don't know, you might be the old codger, as they say in the chat room, but I don't know, you're still a sweetie. SAA Eric.
Thanks, President Deb. You know, yeah, as I said, I mean, you don't get much more old codgery than John. He's a classic, never gets old. You know, it wasn't quite the same shame value though over virtual. I always felt a much deeper level of guilt and shame in person. So you may have to figure out how to really increase that Zoom power, John.
He's staying mute there, so.
Yes, I'll work on that, Sergeant Arm Eric.
Thanks a lot, John. It's great, and you've got the raffle link in there. It's smooth and seamless. Get in there and get a couple because the odds are great and the prizes are awesome. Okay, President Deb, I'm only going to do a couple of things. I do want to give folks a little bit of time for breakouts today. But let me just pull up my deck here. And I'm kind of flying solo. We're practicing a little with me being able to actually screen share on my own. So I've just got a couple that I wanted to play with today. So let me take a shot at this. And we'll see how it works. Now, are you guys getting the screen share?
We are.
I'm still finding mine. Okay, so this really is pretty much for past Secretary Dave and maybe the 5 or 6 others who might actually get the reference. Because we missed May the 4th. We didn't have a meeting that day, but there is a Yoda version of the Rotary 4-way test. So please take this one to heart and recognize that across the galaxy, the 4-way test is still sacrosanct. And here's another way to say it. So thank you for that one. And we heard a little bit today about some of the places where Rotary is out there talking. So we had Rotary in the news this week with the grocery gift cards. So just a congratulations on that one. I also wanted to share, you heard a little bit today about the fun run on Instagram. And these are really great. These are, there's some terrific work being done on celebrating sponsors. So I put up one from a fellow you kind of know. This is the Laura Day sponsorship promotion. And so I just wanted to ask the club, are you on Instagram? Are you able to follow these and share them out? Because we do have a strong Facebook presence. We've got a great fun run presence on Instagram, and we've got a presence on LinkedIn as well. So if you aren't currently following the club on our different platforms, and now that you're all experts on Zoom, you should be good at experts at social media as well. Please check it out and share some of the great news that comes across our social media feeds. Okay, I'm going to skip fines today, President Deb, because I'm conscious of our time. And I do want to give folks a chance for breakout rooms, because we do tend to enjoy our chances to chat together. So I'm going to stop the share. So President Deb, what I'm thinking for breakout rooms is, as you know, it's Mental Health Week. We've been in lockdown for a few more weeks. And a lot of us, I think, are taking some time to catch up on TV and some shows. So rather than be a heavy mental health topic for the breakout rooms, we're going to split you up into your small groups. And what I'd suggest is that you take 4 or 5, maybe 6 minutes sharing what it is you're doing on TV to try to find some good series. It's pretty tough to necessarily find series that you'd be interested in. But whether it's TV or Netflix or Prime or Disney Plus, let people know what you're watching, and you can certainly toss these down into our chat as well. But I'm going to break you up. I'm going to assign you automatically. I'm going to pick a random number of rooms, and here you go. So you'll get a chance to join a room. President Deb, if you want to not join a room, you can stay out in the main room and entertain.
Yep.
Here you go. Connie, are you seeing how to join a room, or do you want to stay in the main room? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I was muted. I forgot. No, I won't join at this point. Thank you.
Sure. You can hang out here with President Deb and the gang.
Yeah, I just kind of pick up whoever is kind of sticking around. Oh, Dave is here.
What if we actually want to be in the same room as you, President Deb?
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Kind of sounded like we were, just the hanger-ons, and that's not the case. So.
I know, it's, you work so hard to make sure everybody's doing everything, and you just kind of forget about yourself and off you go.
There you go. Your own little breakout room.
Yeah, I've even had to go back and watch we've got the videos, all our meetings are on YouTube as well, Connie. And I've had to go back and like skip through and catch some of it, because it's like I missed parts of the meeting, organizing it. So our topic is to talk about what we're doing, TV, watching, what's happening for keeping us busy while we're in lockdown. Now I'll start. Okay, Yellowstone. If you guys haven't seen Yellowstone on Prime yet, that is a must see.
Yeah, I enjoyed Yellowstone, I have to say. I'm just waiting for the next season to drop.
Yeah, we got onto it at Christmas time, of course, lockdown again, and we made it through all 3 seasons in 3 days. we were just glued to it. So it'd be like, get up, have breakfast, watch a couple episodes, go out for a walk, come back, watch a couple episodes, have lunch, watch a couple episodes, go for a walk, watch an episode, have dinner, and then watch it through to like midnight. It was,
Not sure I want to go to Wyoming at this point. Having seen how they treat their people out there. You're either, dead in the water, dead over the edge of the road, beaten up, trampled by a horse. It just doesn't seem to matter.
Totally the Wild West, eh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
and a new thought when you say you're going to the train station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's going to be a forestation actually, because didn't they kill everybody in the end? They blew them up, burnt them out.
No, there is another season apparently. I was reading somewhere that they will be continuing it. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who survived that last explosive episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of think that girl survived. Steve's saying no, so it gets Rip all fussed up.
Okay. So a bit of a spoiler alert for the rest of them, but anyway.
Who's there? Who's there?
Yeah, a little late on the spoilers there, Gary.
I do what I can.
You
Better late than
go
never.
to the everything. Everyone died. Everyone blew up. Oh, by the way, spoilers.
Well, actually, even the first episode is a lot of like blow up. So
yeah.
Hey, Gary, I hate to break it to you. What was that movie? Agatha Christie. The Orient Express. They all did it.
Okay.
Just in case you haven't seen it, they all did it.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. It's not just but the chef in the kitchen with the carving knife. It's everyone.
Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Okay. No news there. No news.
Yeah, no, I don't get to play Clue with my kids anymore. I won on the 3rd round, as in my one kid went, then my other kid went, and then I solved it. They said, you don't get to play Clue with us anymore. I said, you realize I'm an investigator, right? I do this sort of for a living. Oh yeah, but sorry, Connie, I do computers. I'm also a private investigator, so.
Okay.
Just
Sounds
so
interesting.
no, everyone says it's interesting. It's not. Sitting in a car for 8 hours to get one picture is not interesting at all.
So are you in disguise today? The blonde man in the back of the room?
No, actually what happened was last week I was talking with incoming AG Barb, and Peter Lorber had to chime in to his 2 cents worth, and his face got so big it scared the crap out of me and made my hair go white.
I'm glad Peter's not on our group.
Or I tried to dye it white and it went blonde, and I am not quite white yet, because why not? Those are the 2 choices.
Hey, there's
I was bored.
Going white.
Oh, I'm working on it. Like
There
the
you
stuff on
go.
the sides here, that's all natural. Just there's still dark on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Deb, you're talking about watching, binging TV. I don't know what people are talking about. I'm going to work every day. I don't understand this staying home watching TV stuff.
I don't know. We're still glued on stuff. What is it? We're watching Traveler now. So every night we watch a couple episodes of Traveler.
And one thing that's interesting, if you haven't seen yet, if you have Prime, Upload is a very interesting series.
Okay.
It's about it's slightly in the future, and when they're dying, they have their consciousness uploaded into a mainframe that they exist in, and it's very interesting. Then they have people in the real world who they interact with. It was a cute little 10-episode season. It had Robbie Amell. He was in the Stephen Amell was Green Arrow. He's his cousin, and he played the lead. And it's a cute series. Like makes me want to see season 2 if they ever make it. But it was very interesting.
Yeah.
I was watching The Coroner, which is a Canadian series filmed in Toronto. And it was good, the first season. The second season, we just watched episode 1. It started to get a little bit weird. So not sure if I'll continue with that one or not.
Yeah, some of them kind of, you got to either persevere or know somebody who's watched it to get you through.
Yeah.
It's worth watching it. Have you seen Lucifer?
I used to watch that when it was on television.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked at the whole series yet, so no.
From what I've heard, they're having Dennis Haysbert come in and play God in the last season.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Dennis Haysbert, he's the voice of the insurance company. He played in Major League. He was Serrano. He's a good known actor, and he's playing God, apparently.
Yeah. I don't know. That one's a good one. It's light. It's not so. Some of these get pretty intense. You can't really go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm watching a lot of Kamen Rider from Japan to working on my Japanese, so it's probably not something I want to share with anyone else.
Yeah, I'm not watching that.
No.
So
you
Gary,
have to have an understanding of Japanese. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, Gary, you've been quiet. What are you watching?
Well, I have been watching Corner, and I've persevered through the second season. It starts to lose it a little bit, but it's still been a good series as far as I'm concerned. And we've been dancing around. We're watching and I can't remember the name of it. Otherwise, I would have chimed in. But it's a detective out of the 1800s, a woman detective.
Oh, I've seen one or two of those episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I can't think of the name either.
My wife's been enjoying Murdoch Mysteries on Netflix. Good Canadian show. Good Canadian boy, Yannick Bisson. She's enjoying that one quite a bit.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Those later ones tended to go a little bit south as well. There was one in there.
And you can always rewatch Schitt's Creek.
Oh, see, that
Such
one,
a good show.
people say that, I got a couple of episodes in. I guess I have to just persevere and
Oh, it's funny.
Yep, you do need to persevere because it's fantastic.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
It's your last shot at political incorrectness.
Is it? I don't know. Oh, echoing. But yeah, you kind of got to be careful on that. I'm going to leave that one alone for now.
Marlette, can I come to where you are, please?
Sure. Political incorrectness side of conversation. So awesome. Well, I hope everybody had a good chat. And if there was any really good seasons that we should all know about, please put them into chat so we can all get a chance to check up on them. So, SAA Eric, do you have anything more to add there?
No, I'll call it a day at that, President Deb. We're just about 1 o'clock mark, so we'll turn it back to you to get the program underway. Thanks.
Awesome. Great. And we have Mark Schnapp to introduce our speaker today.
Thank you very much, President Deb, and guests and fellow Rotarians. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Natalie Harris, with Mental Health Week, as SA Eric said, and President Deb's theme of the year of Stronger Together. I think our speaker today really embodies all of that in one spot. Usually I would just give a wing on the introduction, but given the substantial work that she's done, both in the community and around the country, I'm literally going to read what she wrote for me overall. So for those that don't know, Natalie is currently the City of Barrie Ward 6 councillor, and she found her way into politics after having played a role in the royal assent of Ontario's PTSD Bill 163, and the same for Canada, the PTSD bill for Canada, Bill C-211. For those that don't know, she's a retired advanced care paramedic, for which she received the Ontario Paramedic Association's Exemplary Service Award in 2018. And she possesses a Bachelor in Health Sciences from Victoria University, for which she received the Outstanding Achievement Award in 2010. Along with being an educator with organizations such as Georgian College and the Sunnybrook Center for Pre-Hospital Medicine, she's an avid writer and has written several books, including Save My Life School, a first responder's mental health journey, with the foreword written by six-time Canadian Olympian Clara Hughes. She was also a blogger for the Huffington Post as well. In 2017, she founded the peer support group Wings of Change, which offers meetings across the country, and is the co-founder and president of the not-for-profit Brainstorm Revolution. She's the creator of Addiction Get Well cards and has spoken at countless events nationally about her own battles with addiction and PTSD. She's a proud Bell Let's Talk ambassador, recipient of the John Graves Simcoe Medal of Honor, and named one of Barrie's leading women. And boy, if it's not enough, she's also received the Tima Conter Memorial Resiliency Award in 2017. And most recently, which is how she came to my attention through Twitter of all places, she was presented with the One Woman Fearless Woman Award in 2018, and was most recently selected to be inducted into the Women of Impact in Canada Gallery by Mr. Trudeau himself. Of course, her proudest accomplishment is being a mom to Caroline and Adam, and a Grammy to Beckham. So without further ado, Natalie, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Just 1 second here. Let's sit. Sorry about that. 1 second. Oh, thank you. Mute there. Unmute. Everything's good?
That is
I can't really see anyone. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. It's been really nice meeting you, Ben, via emails, etc. I know my time is limited, so I will definitely keep this brief. I actually have a timer beside me, so I'm going to start it. I'm going to give myself 15 minutes and to respect your time, and then hopefully allow for a few minutes to give you time for any questions that you may have. So as Ben had shared, I'm a retired advanced care paramedic. And, you know, when I was thinking about what can I possibly share in 15 minutes about my story, the one thing that came to my mind right away was a statement that I hear over and over again as the person that is in recovery from addiction. And as a person that also grew up in a family with both parents who are alcoholics, battled with alcoholism, was that I hear all the time, if you loved me enough, you would just stop. That is something that I've been told. That is something that I told my family. That is something that I hear from people who reach out to me, parents, spouses, you name it. They say, why can't they just stop? Why can't they just stop drinking? Why can't they just stop using drugs? And it is such a complicated answer, but I'm going to try to narrow it down into a couple minutes. So, and I'm sure this is a very educated group, so I don't need to get into the description of what alcoholism or addiction really is. But the basics is it's usually rooted in trauma, and the trauma can be either psychological or physical or both. And for me as a paramedic for 11 years, and I thought if I kept my body physically fit and went to the gym, I would be a medic for the rest of my life. I thought that was something I didn't need to worry about if my back was strong. I was little in stature. So we went to the gym a lot and I wanted to make sure that I could do the job. But I wasn't really taught that my mind and my brain could be injured as well. I was taught what post-traumatic stress was as a student, and but it was more so in the concept of you might have a patient who has PTSD. So I never in my entire life thought that that would happen to me. And in 2012, I was one of the main paramedics at the Travelodge double murder calls. So the murderer, Mark Dobson, was my patient. So over 2 years, I needed to participate in a lot of investigations. I was one of the main witnesses at the trial. And during those years, I really noticed that things in my body were changing and I had no control over it at all. And one of the first things was I had difficulty sleeping. So I started having night terrors and nightmares. And I'd never experienced that before. And I would wake up and sweat, and I'd even wake myself up yelling. It would even wake up my children. They would hear me yell myself awake. I started sleepwalking. And it really caused a lot of sleep deprivation. I became afraid to fall asleep, actually, because the nightmares were so part of my subconscious that I couldn't get away from them. And it turned into that I needed to black out eventually. And again, this wasn't something that happened overnight. This was over a 2-year period. I definitely battled, I think, with mental illness prior to being a paramedic as well, growing up as a child. Looking back now, I can see symptoms of depression, but this was kind of the tipping point, I think, for me. And looking back as well, and why I do a lot of talks across the country and a lot of times to students, is to share how important it is to keep our mental health well, and to make sure that we're always focusing equally on that part of our wellness. And that wasn't taught to me ever. Like I said, if I had a strong back and can do 50 push-ups, I thought I was good. But I needed to do push-ups for my mind, which I learned through treatment, a lot of different treatments. So it was just a really hard, difficult road. People who use alcohol or drugs to numb pain, a lot of the people who I had as patients, a lot of people find this interesting. People who I would resuscitate and give naloxone or Narcan as a paramedic, and finally get their story of where they had, gotten to this point in their life, often was because of prescription drugs. So they had a real accident of some kind and were prescribed prescription medications. And the physiological components of those drugs and what they do to our bodies is just it's so harsh, and it's such an easy type of drug to become dependent on. So another thing I like to share with people often is, once you are down the progression of battling with addiction and you are dependent upon opioids, etc., alcohol, whatever, which was something I became dependent upon with alcohol and benzodiazepines. I wasn't drinking and using benzos to sleep anymore. I was also using those things to feel better, to feel well. It wasn't to get high. It wasn't to have a euphoric feeling in any way, shape, or form. The withdrawal was so severe that I couldn't function as a mom, as a paramedic, or anything if I stopped doing those things. And at that time, I had no idea how to not do that. I had no knowledge of what treatment involved. I had no knowledge of what my life would look like without that. So that's kind of, unfortunately, the far end of the spectrum for a lot of the individuals who battle with addiction. There's very severe withdrawal symptoms. And even when I went to treatment twice. And the first was for addiction and PTSD at Homewood in Guelph. People are monitored very closely and given other medications to prevent seizures and to prevent death from withdrawal. You can't actually just stop. It's not good actually to just stop if you are so far down the spectrum with respect to that. But yeah, the sleep deprivation was so severe. I would try to black out, and the thing with alcohol and drugs, so I was taking sleeping pills, I was prescribed a lot of benzodiazepines to hopefully calm my anxiety that was surrounding this PTSD. They work until they don't work anymore. And that was unfortunately where I got to in 2014. And in 2014, I testified at that trial. And on the same day, one of my friends who I was hired with, we were having a memorial for him because he had died by suicide. And that day was just too much for me, but it was a blessing in disguise because that was my first overdose. And at that time, my son was 8. My daughter was a teenager, and I'm lucky to be alive. I fortunately was best friends with a dispatcher who could tell that something was wrong with my text messages, and she sent an ambulance to my house. But never in my wildest dreams did I think that Natalie Harris, who was, one of the very first advanced care paramedics in the county of Simcoe, and an educator, I taught my peers. I was very proud of what I was doing in my career. I was so embarrassed and so ashamed to be the person that was being apparently wheeled in on a stretcher, covered in a sheet because they wanted to preserve my privacy. I don't remember those things happening. I was unconscious, and luckily I survived. And my work, my employer, and my family made it so that I could go to Homewood, and that was the beginning of a change in my entire life. So recovery is a lifelong process. I still have to practice things that it taught me every single day. And some of those things that it taught me to do are to practice acceptance and make sure I'm taking physical care of myself as well, but practice mindfulness and being present and being in the now and living in the now. I had no idea what that was. I was always actually living in the future. I had a very perfectionist persona, and I wanted to achieve certain things. And I thought if things were on my wall, then that meant that I was doing well. Those are all just packed away in a box somewhere, that really didn't equal me. And I didn't know how to separate myself from what diplomas or degrees were hung on my wall until one day, after many stays at the Royal Victoria Hospital. I've been a patient in the mental health department more times than I can count. I even share with people that there's a lockdown unit in the mental health department at RVH, inside the lockdown unit in the mental health department. There's an ICU, mental health ICU, and I've been a patient in that ICU 3 times. So the RVH saved my life, is a component of why I'm here today. And I participated in an outpatient program. And on my very first day of attending that course, because I, at that time, was doing it because my son, I was only allowed to have supervised visits with my son because CAS was involved. And I wanted to see my son. I still was in denial that I needed to be there. My ego was through the roof. I thought, there's no way. What are you going to teach me about the brain? I'm an advanced care paramedic. I'm pretty sure I could stand up and teach this class. I was so wrong. And I sat beside a man on my very first day, and he looked at me and said, you look familiar. So we struck up the conversation, and I said, oh, I'm a paramedic. Maybe you've seen me out in the community. And his eyes lit up, and he said, I was your patient. And this man also had PTSD, and he was in the military, and he was there participating in the same program and waiting to go to Homewood as well. And I really needed to swallow my pride and sit down in the classroom as a student and start to learn. And it was the most beautiful gift that I was given ever. But it was a process. I was lucky. I was lucky that I was given that opportunity. I was lucky that RVH offered that. I was lucky that my employer provided insurance that covered very expensive treatments, like at Homewood. And so that's why today I fight a lot for being able to provide those treatments to people who don't have those fortunate opportunities. And one of the biggest things that I try to do, and this is a thank you for this opportunity to do this here today, is to use this platform as a way of anybody who's watching or hearing me to know that recovery is possible, and anyone can get better. It just takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of support. It's a life change. It really is, but it's a beautiful thing. I was obsessed with suicide at my very sickest. I had no idea how I would smile in a day. And now I know how to make amends. I know how to keep my side of the street clean. I know how to be compassionate. I know how to check my ego. I know how to really make sure that what I'm doing is for a genuine cause for myself or my family or my community, and is nothing to do with a piece of paper that's hanging on my wall in any way, shape, or form. And I'm very grateful for those things. I'm looking at my time beside me, so I make sure I'm not going to forget a couple little things. But yeah, everyone has a story. And I've seen a lot of amazing people recover from the depths of addiction. I'm part of the 12-step community, but I'm part of a lot of different recovery communities as well. And another thing that was actually quite interesting to me when I was a patient at Homewood, we had something called a uniformed professionals group. And the group was for people who were first responders, military, doctors, dentists, you name it. We're battling with addiction, a lot of times from prescription drugs. And I was beside a woman one time, and she said, I know you. And I said, okay, how? And I didn't know her personally, but we had spoken on the phone many, many times when I was an advanced care paramedic, because she was one of my base hospital physicians at Sunnybrook. So her and I had discussions, and she had given me directives for patients many, many times. And she was sitting beside me in Homewood. And it just really, again, proved that I belonged there and I deserved to be well, and that this could happen to anyone. And it didn't matter how many push-ups I was doing in the gym. I always have to remember, we say our addictions also always doing push-ups in the back of our mind. So relapses have happened in my world, because it isn't something you can just stop. If I stop doing the things that keep me well, my brain and my body has a tendency to want to numb any pain that comes my way. But I love that this is Mental Health Week, and I love that this is Youth Mental Health Week, because I also love sharing with people how learning how to express my emotions, to accept my emotions, and to let them move through me has been one of the biggest parts of my successful recovery. I just thought that if I was sad, I shouldn't feel that, so let's numb it. Sadness is a normal emotion. Depression and anxiety and those types of things are something that might need medical attention, obviously, but I had no idea how to just accept how I was feeling, talk about it, and process it and move through it. So the relapses that I have had now are short, and I have a lot of tools in my tool belt that, of course, if you have questions about, I'm here to answer as well. But something that I guess I'll end, because my timer just went off there, is to share that no one chooses, of course, to battle with something this difficult. And I just encourage everyone, especially during this week of Mental Health Week, to look at individuals that battle with this with your heart. Our perspective a lot of times is that it's just so easy, like just stop. You know, if you loved your family, and you must not love your kids enough, and you must not love your husband or your wife enough. That's really just not the case. There's just so many layers and complexities to why someone is battling with addiction. And if you have someone in your life that is battling with that, you don't have to have all the answers. People reach out to me and ask me that too. What do I say? What do I do? How do I help my family member? And my biggest thing I say to them is, the first thing and the best thing to do is just to plant a seed and show them that you're there for them, and that when they're ready, that they can come to you, and that there's no judgment, and that you'll navigate the world of recovery together. You don't have to have the answers. If you do, great, but don't be afraid of opening up a conversation because you might not have the answers, because the fact of the matter is the first conversation that happens in those cases, you're usually more of the listener. So just listen and validate their feelings and tell them that you're going to be there to help them. I hope that helps in 15, 20 minutes that I have rambled for a bit, but I'm here to answer any questions. I'll switch maybe President Deb, if you can help me, because I can't really see if anyone is putting up their hands. Just let me know if anyone has any questions. I'm clearly an open book. You can ask me anything. So yeah, if anyone has
RF, I see you've got a question. Why don't you unmute?
RF?
Thanks.
Oh, good.
Hi, Natalie. Thanks, SA Eric. And Natalie, great to see you here.
Hi, yes, you too. Hi.
Hi. First of all, thank you. And you've been very open with your personal journey, which is great. And yeah, 20 minutes is not enough to know Natalie Harris. But one of the things that I learned about you when we first met was, though, that as much as it took this very personal journey and very dark journey for yourself, you actually realized that there was a responsibility and a gift involved, and you converted that. And probably this is a result, or what has resulted in the several acknowledgements that you've received that are well deserved. But you turned yourself into a conduit for other people within your profession through the peer support groups, et cetera. And maybe you could just touch on how you've been able to really turn it around and turn it into a tool for others.
That's a great question. Thanks, Arif. I think when I started my recovery journey and I was on my very first day, like I said, when I met that individual who had PTSD in what I call Save My Life School at RVH, I started a blog, and that blog was the first kind of chip in this wall, this facade of self-stigma. I just couldn't believe that I was the person who was in the hospital. I couldn't believe that I was sick. I was just so embarrassed. I was so ashamed. And I knew if I didn't give this recovery my all, I wouldn't survive. It was an all or nothing. So I had to put myself out there, and it was very hard. It was very scary. I had no expectations. I had no idea that our Olympian Clara Hughes would see my tweets and reach out. But I think that led, to answer your question, to hopefully inspiring other people to share their story. And that's what Wings of Change is as well. And Wings of Change peer support, you can go wingsofchange.ca. It's a free peer support for all first responders. One of the best parts about Wings of Change, and we follow the Mental Health Commission of Canada's peer support guidelines, is that we don't talk about trauma in those groups. We talk about life and recovery, and we talk about getting rid of the self-stigma, and we talk about what does it look like living without the mask of perfectionism or whatever you have on your face. And then once you see you're not alone, which is what happened when I had that individual who was in the military, and then the physician who I was with in the hospital, you don't want to put the mask on anymore. It's uncomfortable. At first, it's uncomfortable taking it off because you feel very raw, you feel very vulnerable, but it's such a heavy mask. So I feel that by other people seeing that I have succeeded and I have a very happy life because I've taken off that mask, they kind of will, peek out of it a little bit here and there and just sort of see, oh, I can breathe a lot better without this mask that's actually suffocating me. And I thought I was fine behind it. It's such a beautiful life. And I never thought I would say those words. And those are, I hope, what people see is genuine. I'm not just making that up. It's up and down. Life is hard. And peer support to me and knowing that you're not alone is everything. So seeing yourself in someone who you admire even and look up to, that was Clara for me, made it so I gave myself permission. I've said this a couple times lately, permission to feel is permission to heal. It's kind of like a slogan for my mental health week. And I share that for kids as well, because we sometimes say to our kids, you know, stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about, or this, that, or whatever. And I did that. I grew up like that. I didn't know another way to be. But peer support gives people permission to feel. And that, I think, hopefully answers your question. Thanks, Sarah.
We do have a couple more minutes, and Eric has a question.
Great.
Hey, Natalie. Long
Eric.
time no chat.
Yeah. Hi.
I thought we've talked with our group before a little bit about the fact that we've got a lot of employers in the room, a lot of folks with large networks, and how to support them if they've got an employee who they believe is having a problem with addiction. I think, you know, what you mentioned, personal injury and things like that as a route to addiction through prescription meds. And I know several of the folks in the club have dealt with that within their employees, people who are continuing to self-medicate in order to work, you know, just in order to be able to manage the back pain, to, you know, to stay on the job. Would you say that RAM is the rapid access medicine clinics are still kind of the right way that an employer or a friend or a family member might be able to refer somebody to a walk-in situation? What's best?
Yeah, that's a great question, Eric. And especially in the situation that you just described. So this person is employed and they're still battling with whatever, and that's how they're still managing to get to work. The RAM would be a perfect suggestion for that, because at that point, they would still need targeted care for coming off of those medications, which is maybe other prescriptions. There's a lot of new science behind how we can help people that battle with opioid addictions, which is really exciting. And that's another whole other topic. But yeah, the RAM is a great place for that, because then they can also branch you into whether what other supports are available to you. And I know the people and the director of the RAM so well, and they're just amazing and genuine people. I guide people in that direction all the time. So yeah, that's really the best place to go if that's the situation you're in, for sure. Yeah.
All right, I have dropped those links in there. So thanks for that.
Great.
No
problem. Thanks.
And as much as, you know, I'd love to have, if we could have another couple hours with you, we'll have to have you come back. But Larry,
no problem. Sure.
Hi, Natalie. Thank you so very much for your incredible presentation. When Ben had asked me to thank you, I wasn't 100% sure why until I heard the message. I'm a fellow traveler down that road, and I'd like to thank you by telling everybody a very brief parable. Someone who's having trouble falls into a hole and is asking for help, and their best friend comes by and says, just work hard and you can get out. And then a priest comes by and says, here, read this Bible, it'll help. But they're still stuck down there. And then a doctor comes by and says, take these pills, it'll help. And he's still stuck down there. And then a recovering addict comes by and jumps down the hole. The guy says, what do you do now? We're both stuck. And the recovering addict says, I've been down here before, I know the way out.
Oh, I have goosebumps everywhere.
And so thank you for sharing your message and your experience, strength, and hope with the group. God bless you for doing what you did. And personally, if there's anything I can do to help with your group, please do let me know. I friended you on Facebook, and if I was there, I'd give you a big fat hug.
Okay,
on behalf of the entire club, thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Natalie. Yes, your courage, your strength, and sharing your story can't express enough for your thanks for coming and speaking to us today. We do have a certificate of appreciation. So for Rotary is this close to ending polio worldwide. And in thanks of you coming and speaking with us today, we have made a donation of 10 polio plus vaccinations in your name. And with the resources that Rotary has worldwide, they stepped up immediately and put together their resource center to help fight COVID-19. And we've made a contribution in your name towards that effort as well.
Oh, wow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, President Deb. Thank you, everyone.
And please come back.
Anytime.
Let's see. So President Deb's Stronger Together, Together Inspired Moment. I really had to draw this from our COVID relief for India. District rallied so quickly to pull together, get information and accurate information out to our district and our clubs. Our clubs stepped up immensely with just moments of sending an email out to a group. And we had Wayne, Ian, Jody, Al, and of course our Steve Needley from district stepped up to pull together a fundraiser. And I am confident that we're going to be able to certainly help district reach their goal of 10 units, oxygen units, and hopefully we can make a huge difference. So that is President Deb's Stronger Together, Together Inspired Moment. So having no other business for the good of Rotary, I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
Good job, President Deb.
Great meeting,
Thank
Deb.
you so much, Natalie. Thanks so much, Natalie. That was awesome.
Thank you, Natalie. That was amazing.
Thanks, Natalie. Very good talk.